Hey, here's a story to make you smile or cringe, depending on how deeply you study it. A new poll shows that the least favorite company for sample Americans is, ta-da, the federal government. Yes, it's true. A new Axios poll reveals that the least liked company in the United States is actually the U.S. government. Hi, everybody. I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. And as Joe Setyan writes for a reason, this is breaking news. A sample of 6,188 Americans were asked to name the company they believe to have the best reputation and the one with the worst. Then Axios and Harris took the top 100 most visible companies and asked a separate group of 18,228 people to rate them based on a variety of factors. And yeah, you got it, old Uncle Sam ended up last. Continuing, political party identification didn't matter. Republicans ranked the government 95 out of the 100 companies, and Democrats ranked it number 98, and independents put it dead last. And as Setyan notes, age was also really not a factor here. Continuing. The U.S. government is the second least favorite company among millennials, the least favorite among Generation Xers, and the third least favorite among baby boomers. The pre-baby boom silent generation ranked it seventh to last. So I guess the silent generation obviously composed of mostly mimes. Continuing, there's even more very interesting stuff and a question that Setyan poses. He says, quote, with so many people disliking the government, it's fair to wonder how a presidential candidate like Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont, will be able to appeal to mainstream voters. After all, the socialism that Sanders espouses would mean the government gets more involved in people's lives. But if people already think the government is doing a bad job as it is, why would they vote for more government? Because there's a difference between disliking the government currently in control and government in the abstract. This distinction is profoundly important. In fact, I can't count the number of chats I've had with kind-hearted, self-described anarchists in the punk rock music world who are actually socialist collectivists. They don't want what the word anarchy really means, which is no ruler. They just want to replace the people in power with people that they want in power. But, of course, what's more alarming about this poll is the fact that respondents listed the federal government as a company, right beside companies like poor old Sears, which was also on this list. But Sears is a real company that can only offer us things in exchange for our offered patronage. The government doesn't offer anything. It forces. Sears can't put you in jail if you don't want to buy their products. They can't kidnap you or threaten to take your house if you say, well, no thanks, Sears. The idea that Americans can hold two contradictory ideas at once is a case of mass cognitive dissonance. And it reminds me of George Orwell's description of doublethink from 1984. Here's what he had to say. Doublethink means the power of holding two contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accepting both of them. We have to make sure that we understand the difference between the state and voluntary market exchange. If you don't like a company, you can withhold your money. Try doing that with the government sometime and then see what happens. I'm sure many people who engaged in this poll put the government in there because they wanted to complain. But if even a small percentage of those people who were respondents in this Axios poll actually see the government in some way as being like a company, we're in a lot of trouble. And we got to try to educate people about this important difference. So maybe that's a place to start. And then the next step would be to try to reduce the burden of the government and this force on our neighbor. That might be the next positive step to get from this. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.